right, you guys ready to go? Hey friends, welcome to Gather Party. This is a podcast for friends where I, your host, Kevin, a husband, a dad, and lifelong gamer, bring on different friends with me each week to talk about video games and anything else that we feel like. And I'm really excited about this episode this month because I have my first trio party. I was able to summon 2 other people to join me this month, and I'm very excited. I have one is a new gaming dad, a longtime listener, first-time guest on the show, Organic Kooky, a.k.a. Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, man. And your son is how many weeks away now from being born?
2 weeks to go.
Nice, man. You're feeling prepared? You're feeling ready?
Excited, nervous, just pumped. It's time of life. So yeah, ready to go.
Nice, man. And also joined by a returning guest, Dill Deer, a.k.a. Buddy, a.k.a. Dillon. What's up, man? How you doing? Welcome back.
I'm happy to be back.
All right. And I got a new thing that I'm trying with guests when they come on that I just started last episode. So every time it's someone's first time on, I got to ask what your favorite game of all time is. So I'll start with Kyle.
I have to go with Halo 3. The amount of time, effort, energy, how it captivated me from a young age. I mean, the first time I uploaded it, man, I couldn't sleep. I played all night until like the sun came up and then went to school. So it was just one of those times. So I was fully immersed. So Halo 3 takes the cake for me.
A lot of good times in Halo 3. Peak Halo, some would say.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that statement?
I think as I matured, Halo Reach was really kind of my prime, able to build things, build racing maps. I think Halo Reach for me was like my prime Halo. Just the ability to go do amazing things.
Nice. That's a good solid pick. What about you, Dill? Favorite game of all time?
In terms of campaign and story, because Halo 3 takes the cake for multiplayer, my favorite game of all time has to be Halo 2.
Wow, 2 Halo picks. Did not anticipate that.
And just because the story was insane. Spoilers for
if you haven't played Halo 2 by now, you're probably never going to play it.
You finally got.
We're also not sponsored. We're not sponsored by Microsoft either, Bill. Let's just put that out there. Right? This is not. We're not planted.
It was just awesome, like seeing the viewpoint of the enemy that you fought in the first game, and like it kind of humanized them, and like you got to understand why they're going after like the rings and what it means to them, and you just kind of like from their perspective you start understanding, but then chaos breaks out in the Covenant, and it's just an awesome story.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I played Halo 2 at launch. I couldn't tell you what the story was in Halo 2.
I think I can recite every line in the main game.
It's been a long time since I've played through it.
Just iconic. Even like to the Flood, you get to like see the Flood's perspective and like their end game goal, and you learn so much about the universe, the Halo universe, and I think it's just amazing. Best game of all time for me.
Well, there you have it. If anyone out there has never played Halo 2 or Halo 3, now's the time to do it.
Shout out to Halo 1.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
What are some games that you guys have been playing recently?
It's a game called Call of the Wild the Angler, or as I like to call it, just Fish Game. And it's a game where it's not a realistic fishing game, but it's definitely an immersive one. It's open world. You get to go hiking. On that note, there's more than just fishing. There's hiking. You get to go look at trees and like spot any kind of like invasive plant species and stuff like that to report it. There's so much more to fishing than what the game leads you to believe, but it's just a peaceful, serene game that you can get kind of just relax to, and it's great.
Yeah, Call of the Wild is like a sim game, right? A hunting sim, the original Call of the Wild.
Yeah, and it's like a simcade, so it's like not quite a simulator, but it's still immersive enough where you feel like it's real. But those are my favorite kind of games, is simcade games.
It was recently added to Game Pass, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I was going to try and give it a try before we did this podcast because you texted me and told me about it, but I was trying so hard to try and finish the main story in Starfield.
Starfield's more important right now. Fish game's always going to be there,
Yeah.
but the hype around Starfield.
Did you ever play like Cabela hunting games on like on like original Xbox?
The OG
and
Xbox,
PS2?
because my family grew up hunting and I was around it all the
Yeah.
time. So like when hunting video games like Cabela's games were coming out, my mom would buy it for me and I get to play it, and that was kind of special. Slaughtering bear
Yeah.
and deer.
Yeah, I played on the PS2. I had Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. That was a fun one where the animals...
That was the most memorable one.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Because it had big like open levels that you had to walk through, and yeah, you could be hunted. You could hunt bears and stuff.
I completely
and then
forgot about that game until you just said it. And that just unlocked everything for me.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. And then even older than that, the first hunting game I played was actually just called Deer Hunter on the PC. And it was
it was a 2D game.
Yeah, it's all you did was sit there and scroll back and forth on like a 2D pixel landscape, and you'd have to wait for a deer to like pop up.
Holy crap, this is insane.
And
so many memories that got lost.
I don't know why my family is not into hunting at all. I don't know why we had so many hunting games when I was younger.
They're just fun, I guess.
Yeah. As a little kid, I wanted to go hunting. I thought it would be so cool, to go out and shoot something.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't go out now, but
it's an experience.
You've been hunting though before.
Like, actually,
real things,
last
real
weekend.
People.
Yeah, last weekend I was just hunting. I don't know. It's for me. We're kind of going off topic, but I guess we're talking about anything on this podcast.
We can talk about whatever we want.
For me, I don't like the killing. I don't like the sport of it. However, like I do like venison. I love venison. It's amazing. It's one of the most nutritious meats. So as long as you go out there and like respect the animal and use the animal, and you're not out there just to go slaughter animals, because there is a reason why they allow tags. It's for population control and helping it's actually counterintuitively you're actually helping the environment that way. Anyway, but yeah, as long as you're out there to respect the animal and like use the animal, I think that's totally acceptable. And I think it's a little bit more humane than what the cow industry is, or the cattle industry, how they get treated there. So I mean, that's I don't know. That's my thought process around it.
Can I ask a question, Dill?
Yeah.
Did you ever play Duck Hunt growing up? It came out in 1985.
Yeah. Of course.
And it had these little light guns on you shoot the screen. Do you think? I think that's the OG hunting game, right?
Dude, it is like that was like before like video games, because it wasn't a video game. It was light projected on your walls. It's amazing. But yeah, I did have that. Like, and like the little projector would like swivel around across your wall.
I never played it on a projector. I played it on the Nintendo. Yeah, I played it on the NES.
Oh, you're talking about Nintendo. Oh, see, I was growing up. I guess, yeah, and the Duck Hunt on NES was there before the thing I'm talking about. But back to your question, yes, I played Duck Hunt on NES. I played a Duck Hunt game that was a little projector in my room, and it would swivel around the walls, and it was the same thing. It was you'd pull the trigger and it would capture the light. And
fun fact is Duck Hunt came with the NES starting in 1986. So if you got a deluxe NES system, it came with Duck Hunt. So a lot of people.
That's awesome. I still have
that's
it.
how really. Now we're here. Now we're here playing. You're reporting plants. You're doing so many more things. But Duck Hunt started it all in a sense.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about you, Kyle? What have you been playing other than Starfield?
Yeah, I have a typical rotation between Rocket League, Call of Duty, and Fall Guys. Is kind of like my my three-pronged approach. Go on there, try to get a W a day, keep the doctor away. So try to go on there, win a game of Fall Guys, win a game of Call of Duty Warzone Ranked, and win some Rocket League. That's a good day. Some days you don't win them all though. And
have you played? Do you play? They're on Modern Warfare 2 right now? Do you play the multiplayer for Modern Warfare, or do you just do Warzone?
Yeah. No, we do. There's gunfight. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. It's all fun to me. I think it's one of the best Call of Duties we've had in a long time. So,
you gonna get Modern Warfare 3 when it drops? I mean, you'll be in a whole different place by the time Modern Warfare 3 drops.
Yeah,
You'll
with
a
the baby coming, the odds are low. But this is gonna be a cool time because typically they switch, right? You kind of go back to the old Cold War era, kind of Black Ops. This is the alternating series. So instead of switching it to a Black Ops S, so it's like you always skip one, right? So it's like you always skip the bad one, then you get the new one that comes out, And so here we have the new one coming out. It's going to be zombies, but it's also going to be Modern Warfare. So I was like, wait, I can play Modern Warfare and have zombies? Like, it's a little confusing. So we'll see how it pans out here. And I heard they're going to revamp the article on that as well. Is they're taking all of the true Modern Warfare 2 maps and revamping them and redesigning them. It's like, it's kind of a mixed reaction online. It's like, look, what are we building here? We're not really creating anything new. You're taking old maps and kind of, they said we're redesigning them, making them more depth friendly, more gun game friendly. And so they're walking through all these Modern Warfare 2 maps. But it's like they're should be happy or sad.
With how many installments they've had, making new maps sounds almost impossible. I mean, I feel like they've thought of the most they could possibly think of. And I feel like an FPS map isn't, super complicated. It's just you create a few lanes and then maybe make some little pathways off of those 3 lanes, and that's it. So there's only so many different ways you can do that.
Especially like a Call of Duty scale map. It's pretty straightforward.
Probably my best Call of Duty friend too. Should have mentioned that when I introduced you, the COD God.
Behind every KD that's above a 1, there's a friend that's below a 1. It's there's always the
we average out back to 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
So do you buy the new skins on Warzone? You got the who is it they have now? Don't they have Nicki Minaj as now a skin in Warzone?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean there's Messi,
Dogg,
there's
right?
Neymar, there's
Snoop
it's all
Dogg,
interesting.
21 Savage is also on there.
Yep. I don't spend money. I just try to collect the free points, and then when I have enough, get a new battle pass. So one battle pass you just kind of try to max out and try to ride along. But yeah, I do not have any cool skins, sadly.
Can you still earn a battle pass within the battle pass?
It's going to be tough. You can maybe get I think it's 1,100 COD points to get a battle pass now. You might be lucky to squeeze through, get 200 or 300 a season. So it can take some time to save up. But if you have enough and you saved up, because they carried over from the last game too. So whatever points you had last game carried over. So it enables you to kind of get a battle pass and keep the rhythm going.
I've played recently in the last few months, and it looks really complicated now. I'll be honest. I don't understand
it's kind of
anymore.
Let's say you bought the battle pass for 1,100 COD points, and you maximize everything you possibly could. It wouldn't repay you. You'd only have like 1,000 COD points, so you'd be short. And so they got it to where you couldn't maximize your battle pass and get the next one. You had to then pay the upgraded battle pass, the black pass, whatever it's called, to then get into the next segment. So it got rid of the system. You couldn't actually keep buying a new battle pass, even if you max it out. You had to pay up or wait for the next segment and get a free segment of 100 coins. That's a whole other topic about monetization of the games and how it's a little predatory, but
yeah. Speaking of predatory, I did think of something that I didn't put on the outline, and I wanted to ask you guys about it. With pre-ordering games now, so I feel like this trend has started in like the last couple years, where there used to always be kind of early access to games, but I feel like now games will offer the early release date as part of the pre-order, so those who pre-order the game get early access to it. Not that it's in like an early access state, like the game is completely done, but if you pay the pre-order, you could play the game like a week earlier.
Yeah,
and
wasn't that Starfield?
Yeah, that was Starfield.
Starfield had it. Diablo had it. I think there's several other games before then. Like the last couple of years, I feel like most major AAA titles have been doing it.
Yeah, I think it's lazy.
Yeah, it seems like, because I hadn't pre-ordered a game in a long time. I think most people in the gaming community were like adamant now about let's not pre-order games anymore.
Especially as digital. You just download it whenever you want. There's no need to pre-order, because pre-ordering then, like, it guaranteed you the title at release.
Yeah.
And that you just don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, and then they had, like skins and things like that with pre-orders, but people ultimately just decided, I feel like, that it wasn't worth it.
Not anymore.
But now with this, I feel like pre-orders are back with this early access they get to the game.
I'm still not sold on it.
I didn't think I was either, but I paid the $30 to play Starfield a week earlier than its release date.
Dang, it's like $6 a day for... I mean, it's cool, but not for me yet.
I mean, I had a gift card, so it felt like it wasn't my own money, but it still was paying for it.
No, that's fine. If you have a gift card, you don't know what to do with it. To play Starfield a week early, I mean,
I don't know. I was just wondering if you guys cool with that? Would you guys pay money to play a game earlier if it was a game you were really anticipating?
I was anticipating Starfield, and I didn't feel the need to buy it early, especially since it was on Game Pass for free.
But you've also
bit the bullet.
You bit the bullet?
I was off that week and I had that
Oh.
weekend, and so it just made sense to spend the
If
$30. However,
okay.
shout out to my Game Pass share member who's paid for it. Shout out
Lucifer
Jacob.
Knight. Hey.
If
So,
well,
yeah.
I can see that more than like a regular day. Because if I had a week to do nothing, then yeah, I would. I think I could shell it out. But in my like day to day base, like when nah.
Yeah.
80% of the time, I'm not gonna do it.
Well, I knew I needed
if
to
I was
maximize my time with it. I knew I wasn't
Yeah.
going to hit 48 hours by the time we recorded this podcast.
Like me, I waited for release day. I think I have more time than both of you guys combined.
Yes. But yeah, I brought you guys on because you're my Xbox jabronis, and I wasn't going to talk about any Xbox news or any gaming news at first. I just wanted the episode just to be about our Starfield experience, but then so much Xbox news broke this month, thanks to the FTC trial that just keeps on giving and giving. More and more documents aren't necessarily leaked, but just through the being shared to the public, and people are just combing through those things looking for anything. A lot of information came out. Actually, I think it was leaked, if I remember the article.
It was
what
leaked.
I read, but it was uploaded to the FTC's website.
Yeah.
But it wasn't supposed to be.
And I remember Phil came out with Phil Spencer, head of Xbox. He came out and said like, "Hey, these were this was old, but a lot has changed. Don't believe it."
Yeah, but yeah. So I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it.
The only things I know that I saw from the leaks were the new controller and the proposed design or the refresh of the Series X. And it's cylindrical, like Amazon Alexa.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the design choice, but the controller is what I'm more interested in because it's after like 3 generations, it's actually finally changed. Like the controller.
Yeah, some of the big leaks that came out of it was their plans for a system refresh for the Series X and Series S. Plans for a remake of Fallout 3 and The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Oh.
There's also leaked information about their next console, which is slated to come in 2028. So about 5 years away for their next console.
That's on par.
And then also some statements in there. One, there's a statement that they were considering trying to buy Nintendo, which I thought was pretty funny.
That'd be insane.
But yeah, so let's start with the first big leak from there was the system refresh. So they're gonna release some upgraded versions of the current consoles that they have. And I know right now all three of us play on a Series X. Would you guys want an upgraded Series X from what you have now?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go shell out additional money. That would require if there's a game or something that there's like a better all-roll experience. I just don't see it happening. So yeah, I think I'd probably wait till 2028 to make any of those changes.
Yeah. The only thing I could see an upgrade for is you got a pretty tight spot that your Xbox Series X fits into. Maybe this new one will be smaller and could fit better.
It would still be $500 though, so that's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shape of it is weird. I don't think the shape of it, which was like a half cylinder shape, would even fit in where you have yours in your TV stand right now.
Little console, yeah.
What about you, Dill? Would you shell out for an upgraded version of the Series X?
No, I'm totally content with the Series X right now. I have no need to upgrade. And like Kyle, like maybe like in 2028, see how that goes, and then think about it. If I had like if I still had like a 1X or maybe even like a Series S, then maybe. But I'm as a Series X owner, I'm content. There's no need.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I'm about the same. I don't think I could shell out. I mean, it was hard enough to get this Series X.
Exactly. The loading times are fine for me. Yeah. I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't.
What about an upgrade Series S? Would you guys want a second Xbox to put somewhere else in the house?
Not an upgraded S. I would take the old S, because if it's not like my primary gaming console, like maybe in the bedroom, I don't need the best S. I'll just take the cheap $250 one or whatever it is now.
Yeah, I'd say if anything to be excited about is probably maybe a price drop for the Series X.
Yeah,
that could come with this new
Yeah, I mean to drop
Okay.
a Series S, right? The Series S is going to be $299. I mean, if you're going to drop anything and put in another room, you might as well just get like a Apple TV or a Apple HomePod.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, we're not sponsored by Apple either on this podcast. This is
Even
non-affiliated.
even if like I wanted to play like in my bedroom, sometimes I'll use cloud gaming on my phone and just play like that. It's kind of ridiculous, but
Yeah, no, I've played on my phone before,
yeah.
and I used to have an iPad at my old job, and I try and play on that
Yeah,
too.
the cloud gaming works really well.
Yeah,
Like,
I
surprising.
cloud game on my Series X all the time.
Yeah, the latency is like minimal too. Like you're not going to be playing first person shooters, but like single player games, it's totally.
No, I
it's
played
fine.
last time I cloud streamed a game was when I was playing Halo Infinite with Kyle.
Really,
Yeah, and he'll tell you I went off.
really. Wow.
Yeah, he would he would disappear.
No, I went off.
Wouldn't be there
I
for-
went off the game. I walked away.
I was really mad. Cloud gaming sucks.
But yeah, no, cloud gaming is pretty
Yeah,
convenient.
I think it's really underrated. Like I don't think really a lot of people either know about it or just haven't used it.
Yeah, that's funny you
Yeah,
mention
I
that
mean,
because
it's
when
very-
I told Kyle I was cloud gaming, he didn't know what I meant.
Yeah,
and
you
neither
just-
did the other
I
two guys we
still
were
don't know
playing
what you
with.
guys are talking about. You guys are still talking about it? I'm
Dude,
like, cool, whatever
you
that
can go
means.
you can go on your phone, download the Xbox app, log in.
Sure,
as long as on-
sure.
This is like Microsoft's pitch. This is like
Yeah.
play anywhere. Is
Yeah.
what they're
Like
what they're
anywhere,
trying to sell.
and like it's not even like really playing on like cloud services. It's just it is, but you're using your actual console. Your console will turn on at home, and you're just like
How do you control the phone? How do you play?
so. If you have your Xbox controller, your Xbox controllers, at least the newer ones, have Bluetooth capabilities, so it'll link up to your phone. And when you're doing that, it sends the inputs through the phone over the internet to your Xbox, and that's how you play. At least that's how I understand it.
I think now they have a touchscreen option too that you can play.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I know there's actually
Yeah.
like cloud gaming. If you don't have the game downloaded on your console, you can actually stream it from one of their online console servers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But-
I'll
Yeah.
take the camp of I'm okay to leave the Xbox on the Xbox. When I come and want to detach to do some mobile gaming, I just pop up Hearthstone, pop up some chess, pop up some Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. I'll keep. It's a nice dichotomy for me to have these two worlds separated.
Yeah, I think the cloud gaming is very like niche.
Yeah. However you want to say it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm not
that's
even
like
sure
their
how to say the
whole.
word.
I mean, that was
niche.
while we're on the topic of FTC, that was like their whole thing in the UK was the
Cloud
UK
gaming?
tried to block the acquisition of Blizzard Activision
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of cloud gaming.
Wow,
But I
That-
mean, now they look dumb, so they take it all
Yeah.
back. But
that's a huge acquisition. Like I'm surprised in the US. Like it's going well in the US, right? It did go well.
yeah, it got approved.
That's
I think
insane
they
to me.
appealed it, but I don't think much is going to happen from that. So it looks like for the most part, it's going to go through. Microsoft's going to acquire them.
I think it's cool. Like I
Dude, that was like yesterday, right?
No, it was about a month ago now that the case ended, the first trial, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't been following recently since they won their case with against the STC. I know that it's in the works and it's most likely going to happen now.
Imagine like all the games being available day one on Game Pass, like COD, and they could make it exclusive. I don't think they would because it's just
No, that was part of the trial. Was Phil Spencer took the stand and said that he was committed to keeping Call of Duty on multiple platforms.
it's like Minecraft.
He
Like,
had to say because that was the FTC and Sony's whole shtick was they were trying to use Call of Duty as the reason why it would be monopolistic for them to own Activision.
Are all Bethesda games going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform now?
Yeah,
Because Starfield's exclusive, right?
Starfield's exclusive, and I think that was part of this leak as well. As one of the documents stated that Elder Scrolls 6 would be Xbox exclusive.
That's insane. Like that's going to be a console seller, and that's what Xbox needed like the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any console seller games,
Yeah, and then Starfield's reached like some pretty insane numbers. I think they're at like
especially being free on day one.
Mhm.
Well, you're buying a service, but
yeah,
for a fraction of what you would be paying.
yeah.
Like that's insane. But anyway,
So to caveat the latest and greatest news as of yesterday, they cleared the UK threshold. The deal was accepted in China. They ran into regulatory issues in the US and the UK. And as of yesterday, it looks like they cleared the UK threshold to move forward with the deal.
I mean, once it was approved in the United States, I anticipated it was going to be approved by everyone else. I think if they wanted to, they could have just not had business in the UK, and that would have sucked for all the residents in the UK that played Xbox.
It would suck for Xbox. It would suck for everyone else there.
Yeah. How about the other big leak? So the remakes for Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls 4. Is there any hype to that?
I've never played
Do you
either.
have any hype level for those two games getting remade?
No hype from my end. My play style is kind of a one and done. I'm not a replay type of person, so that's a no for me.
And you played both of those, the original ones?
Fallout. You said Fallout 3 remake?
It was Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion are being remade.
Yeah, I did not play Oblivion. I did play Fallout 3. So yeah, I would not go out and play Oblivion. Just I think the time commitment. I just played Skyrim, so I think my next commitment to that as a new father is going to be probably the new Elder Scrolls coming up here. I believe Elder Scrolls 6.
Fair enough.
Releasing in 2030.
I would say though, Elder Scrolls 4 is my favorite Bethesda game. So I'd say if you haven't played it,
I haven't played either. So hearing that excites me because I tried playing Oblivion, and everyone, it's whoever hypes it up to play it now it's just nostalgia fueled.
Oh yeah, because it hasn't aged well at all.
No, and because I tried playing it because I hear all the time how good it is. And I went to play it, and like I just couldn't finish. I got to the first Oblivion gate, and then like I lost interest because it just felt very clunky. But if they remastered it, added like quality of life improvements, I would be all over it.
It almost was like a 360 launch title. It came out pretty early in the 360s.
But it was developed on the OG Xbox. Had to have, and then they just ported it or something.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was like when it launched, it was pretty cutting edge, like the facial animations, the graphics. It was prime when it came out. But yeah, it just hasn't aged.
2007.
Well. Yeah,
wow.
Which I think was the launch of the 360. Maybe 2006.
I think 06 was.
Yeah. I remember it was in 7th grade when it released, and I feel like that was either the first year or the second year of the 360's lifespan.
I think I don't know. Maybe it's controversial. I think the Xbox 360 was still the best Xbox platform in generation.
No, I don't think that's controversial at all.
I think all the best games came out of that generation.
Yeah.
To me.
No,
maybe that's just me being old and nostalgic.
No, I don't think so. I think it definitely had some of the most genre-defining games too,
and
just one of the best. I feel like platforms as far as accessibility and multiplayer and all those things.
I think everything's like heavily commercialized in the gaming stage now. Like microtransactions, they really push that. I think games. Games have always been made to make money, but it just feels that way now, versus like producing a product that was made because they love to make games. Now you're making games because you love to make money. I don't know. In some cases, not all cases. Like Starfield is definitely like a love child, but we're gonna get to that.
Back on the microtransactions, back on nostalgia. Couple things here. I had a bad experience at Xbox 360. I had the Red Rings of Death.
Oh, same.
So
everyone did.
The whole process.
That was part of it.
The whole process of shipping my Xbox, waiting for it to come back. I was just without an Xbox for so long. And so I didn't have a good experience with my Xbox. I'm really disappointed. Granted, I played a bunch and had a great times, but overall I think there's a big gap there that any of the previous following Xboxes didn't have any of those issues, right? To where I didn't have to ship off anything. So I love the reliability improvements. Granted, it's fundamental for our age of that time range to play those games. Back on the microtransactions, they were less money hungry. Halo 3, for example, you saw someone with a Recon armor set. You saw someone with a Hayabusa armor set. They took the time to go get the skulls. They took the time to play Legendary. So it's like you would see somebody's armor and it meant something.
Yeah.
Whereas today, you see someone's armor and like they spent $10, $20. It's
right.
So I think I miss those days a little bit, which I think we'll get into with Starfield a little bit, where it has that nuances. It's like kind of it feels like luck. The rolls are just random at this point, But we'll go into the rolling system of Starfield in our next segment.
I want to ask, while we're talking about microtransactions and DLCs and stuff, and it's a small sample pool for here, but would you guys rather spend the $20-$25 for a DLC pack with maps and everything, or would you still like to have it free but microtransactions?
I think the latter of the two. I would love to have someone else pay for my free maps.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say just kind of depends on the game. I think a multiplayer game for sure, microtransactions, and I just won't buy it, and I'll take the free content. I have no issue with not having season passes. I usually don't buy battle passes or season passes on games. So
yeah.
But for single player games, because I know Starfield is going to have DLC. Most of their RPGs had paid DLC that launched after the game, so I would definitely pay for that. I don't know what microtransactions that Bethesda would put into a game,
right? And
but I wouldn't want that for a Bethesda game either. So I would prefer them to just release a paid DLC expansion for their games.
Okay, yeah, I think I'd rather pay for like DLCs. Like if we're talking about multiplayer, I would still rather just pay the $20.
Old school like Halo, Call of Duty map packs.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I felt like the DLCs were a lot more of quality back then. Again, maybe that's just nostalgia speaking, but because I don't know, I felt like I got my money's worth then, and now I think they just kind of push stuff out to get people back in the game, and then like for them to spend money on microtransactions, versus like, hey, pay this because we created something awesome. It's hey, we push this out so you can buy more microtransactions. That's my opinion. That's not fact. That's not factual. It's just what I feel.
Yeah. Sadly, that's just the shift gaming has made. I don't think microtransactions are ever going to go anywhere.
No, they're not. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like, it's insane. So yeah, it has to make money.
How about next console in 5 years? So we already talked a little bit about if we'd want a new console soon, if we'd be willing to pay for that. But what changes or improvements would you want to see in a new console? We'll start with you, Dill.
A better friends system, because ever since the Xbox One platform came out, it's been like a almost like a social media. Like, I have to follow you to be a friend, but you may never know I added you. You have to follow me back. And back on Xbox 360 and all that, like, if I sent you a friend request, it would be there, accept this friend request, and boom, now you guys are linked up. The avatar system was better. I mean, this is still dumb, but like grasping at straws, I guess. The avatar system in the 360 days were way better than it is now. Nobody even knows that they exist still.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like they're trying to move away from that.
Yeah, I mean,
system.
I don't even know why it's there.
They should just
get rid of it.
Because there used to be games on the 360 that used your avatar.
Yeah, like 1 versus 100.
Yeah, 1 versus 100.
Yeah, that was amazing.
The Doritos game.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it. It was like an obstacle course game.
Let's see. I think overall, like, it's nailed down. I still don't like the UI. Like on 360, like, I go through my friends list, I hit X and boom, party invite. Now I have to like click on your name, scroll down, invite to party. I don't know. There's just extra steps. I also miss on 360, like, when you were playing a game and then somebody on your friend list would start playing that game, it would say like, oh, cool, whatever game you're playing. And like, it would let you know that people are playing that game that you're
it's
on.
Organic kooky now.
Organic. Oh, well, yeah, just beep it out. That'd be funny.
Cut that.
Yeah, cut it. But I mean, it's just like subtle UI improvements that need to be done. I do miss picture on the original Xbox release or Xbox One release. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Picture in. No,
yeah,
I don't know.
PIP. So like the original Xbox One, you were able to like watch YouTube or whatever while you're playing your Xbox.
Oh,
it would be a picture in picture.
It's called like Snap or something.
Yeah, they call it Snap, and I missed that. That was like a really cool feature. As I get it, it was like intensive on the hardware. I get it. Another thing I miss that I loved about Xbox One was their selling point on the One entertainment system. So like there was also like a HDMI in on the Xbox Ones where you can sync up your Xbox to your TV guide, and you would have all your TV guide information, your TV in. You didn't have to switch inputs. I do miss that. I thought that was really cool. It's not present on the series, and it doesn't need to be, I guess. I mean, obviously they took it out because no one used it. I used it. I thought it was cool.
Well, most people are using streaming services now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would say less about what I want to see and what they're framing up in the FTC leaks. It looks like their vision is like a hybrid gaming platform, one that utilizes AI and machine learning to kind of make a fluid hybrid approach. And it's hard to know what they mean by that. It looks like they're trying to streamline the process to like mobile gaming, but also attract PC first gaming and also cloud first gamers. So it's interesting their vision for the future in 2028. I'm interested to see how they utilize AI and how they make things better. Overall, it looks like they can use AI and different code processors to reduce latency, to do super resolution, frame rate interpolation, and just like it's just in 2028, it's going to be super interesting to see how smart these computers get and what product we get. So I'm excited to see what they come up with and how AI and machine learning will be used to make our lives better, faster, in terms of matchmaking, in terms of just everything else.
Maybe they can pair me with players that are worse than me so I can feel good.
Yeah, or start creating, a digital footprint for you, and it's going to start just curating your experience every time you turn on your Xbox to what your preferences are. I would want to see some sort of incorporation of VR or augmented reality. I think that would be cool in the next console. I would also love some more USB ports. I'd love to have like a kind of like how the original Xbox and older consoles used to have 4 controller ports on it. I would love to see that in the next.
Just have like four USBs lined up in the front.
Yeah. I feel like party games are making a big resurgence. There's Party Animals that just dropped on Xbox Game Pass.
Party Animals?
Yeah, which is kind of like it's like a mixture of like Mario Party and Fall Guys. Looks pretty fun.
I'll give it a look.
But games like Fall Guys, I still think there's a big need for like couch co-op and party games, and especially people our age, like millennial gamers. I feel like still like party games a lot because we don't really know how to party unless we're doing something in front of a TV. So we like to be able to sit in front of it and do something.
Who brought Smash Bros? No one brought Smash Bros.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Right. So I would like to see that something with virtual reality or augmented reality built into the system, and then also just something built in for more couch co-op opportunities on the console.
Bring back Connect.
Yeah, not Connect. I mean, I want something different than Connect.
There was actually one game that I really liked, and I forgot what it was. But
that's how good
the rest of it was awful. The concept was awesome, but some AR or
that's where I learned to dance. It was through Connect. That helped me for my high school dances.
There was
I had great moves because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a good dancer. I'll give you that.
Because of Xbox Connect.
Last big thing here, I think, at least the last big thing that I wrote a question about was their statements about acquiring Nintendo. Now, this question is more so just for fun because I don't think there's any realism there's no way Nintendo would even sell their company to Microsoft in any universe or world. But what do you guys think it would be like if Microsoft was able to own Nintendo? Do you think Nintendo would still have the same success, or would it start to? As I feel like most of companies that Microsoft buys, I feel like they start to. I don't know if Microsoft has like a specific style of games that they like to make now, because they don't really have like a ton of great IPs themselves. But I feel like the companies that they start to buy start to make games. They usually start to make big like single player, multiplayer, first person action adventure games. What do you guys think it would be like if Microsoft owned Nintendo? Would Nintendo still have the same style and theme that it has now?
Yeah, one, it just feels like I don't think Nintendo would ever let that happen. I don't think they need Microsoft to be successul.
Definitely not now. I mean, I don't think they did 5 years ago or whenever supposedly the time was when this was said. But
I mean, yeah, it would make life easier for me, right? I have my Switch and I have my Xbox, so it'd be nice to have one console that can play, Super Mario Brothers and also play Super Mario Party or Mario Party and play Wii Sports, and would love to have a cross-functional console that doesn't take up 2 spaces on my entertainment center. But I think I'm okay with having 2 separate places in my home for them because they have 2 separate places in my heart.
I think it would be awesome to see Nintendo games in like a Game Pass subscription. But I also, and it would be awesome. It would be awesome to see Nintendo games optimized for a next gen console, since they're still using like 10-year-old hardware for their games. And they use specific art styles to kind of highlight their games, but ultimately they just, they're not optimized, and graphically they're just not as good as compared to games releasing on the PS5 and Xbox. So that would be awesome to see, but I feel like if Microsoft owned Nintendo, it would lose a lot of the charm that Nintendo games have, and it would become more kind of systematic and business-like, because that's what Microsoft tends to lean towards. So I think Microsoft would tell them, like, you got to pump out, a Zelda game every couple of years. You got to pump out a Smash Bros. Games every couple of years. They're major line titles, and that was all we would kind of see from Nintendo after that point. But yeah. I don't think that would ever happen in our lifetime or anyone's lifetime.
No.
What about you, Dill? What do you think it would be like to see a Microsoft
I'm the opposite.
Nintendo?
I'm the opposite. I think Microsoft would know well enough to let Nintendo be Nintendo. I would hope anyway.
Yeah, that's true. They let Arcane be Arcane with Redfall. So.
Yeah, that's unspeakable.
I played all the way through Redfall, by the way.
I didn't even download it.
I was incredibly hyped for Redfall. I felt like I had to play it.
Again, like the concept was amazing, and like I thought it sounded so cool. But then I waited for reviews for the first time, and I mean it didn't really matter because it was free on Game Pass. But I waited for the reviews, and it didn't look too hot. But I would hope Xbox Microsoft would let Nintendo be Nintendo.
If Nintendo ever had to sell their company or wanted to sell it, I think they would sell it to another company based in Japan before they sold it to a US-based company. Like
Capcom or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Capcom probably would never have enough money to pay them, but I don't know. Maybe Bandai Namco or I think Sega is a Japanese company based out of Japan. I saw in the notes, Dill, you added the Xbox credit card.
That's right.
So you
Xbox MasterCard.
Did you? Are you applying for one?
No, I already have 3 credit cards. I don't need another. But I thought it was interesting because it's the first gaming centered credit card that I've seen.
I don't know at the top of my head. I feel like there has to be others.
Yeah, there probably is. It's just like something I've never seen or heard about.
You might be right. It might be the first one.
So can I read off the benefits? Not sponsored by Microsoft or MasterCard here, but
yeah, you can. I don't have a credit card, so maybe this will pitch me on one. Yeah.
You should get a credit card. No liability.
As your quasi-financial advisor, you definitely need to get a credit card.
Yeah, definitely get a credit card.
Yeah, I used to have one and it expired, and I never renewed it, so I still don't have one.
That's a damn shame.
It was like a starter one too, like the first one you apply for.
Dude,
when you
definitely
build your credit.
Definitely. So this could be an opportunity.
All right. Well, let's hear it. What can I get with an Xbox credit card?
It's currently only available to Xbox insiders that have joined the MasterCard preview. However, let's dive in. So you can.
So I'm already eliminated from.
Yeah, you can join the insider program though. No, you can sign in right here on their website, on Xbox's website. But anyway, apply now, and after your first purchase, earn a bonus 5,000 card points, which is a $50 value, and 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for new members. So here's what your purchases entail. You get 5 times digital Microsoft Store points. You get 3 times streaming services that include Netflix, Disney, and such. Dining delivery services, clutch for your gamers.
Yeah. And
everything else is like
single gamers.
Yeah. Everything. I'm assuming that these X's mean percent. So 5% on digital Microsoft Store, 3% on streaming services, 3% dining delivery services, and 1% for everything else.
How much Microsoft points do I get for using the card?
Let's see. So if 50,000 or if 5,000 card points were a $50 value.
That's the real rewards that I want is Microsoft points.
That's you want to. I don't want a US dollar. I need Microsoft currency. It looks like you can compound a
Gotta
lot
enter
here.
those raffles somehow.
So yeah, and then you can personalize this card. There's 4 options. I'm showing Kevin.
Oh wow, they put gamer tags on them.
You can actually put your gamer tag on it. If you want to embarrass yourself at a drive-through someday.
I mean, I was gonna say, does anyone even look at your credit card? Then I think
Can you put your gamer score on there to flex?
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
To fall in line with PC Magazine's recommendation, I would fall in line and say probably a skip. From my end as well.
Yeah, in terms of like generally speaking, I don't think you want a gaming credit card. But hey, if you buy a lot of games, this could be an option.
Or if you don't have a credit card, it's an option.
Or if you're a host of a gaming podcast, you could be the first. You could put Gather Party on it.
That would be sick. I could maybe write it off as a business expense.
That's what I'm thinking.
My recommendation to anybody listening to this would be to go apply for whether it be American Airlines, United, Alaskan Airlines credit card, and get yourself a free trip somewhere. Go sign up there, get your free miles, and go take a trip.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can take this part off the
unless you're really into the Xbox.
Unless you bleed green for Daddy Phil Spencer. Starfield.
Which, hey, that's why we came here tonight, right?
Starfield.
This is what we're here for.
Space
right
game. Space game. That's what I call it.
Skyrim is what we're here to talk about tonight, right? So that's obviously the biggest launch for Xbox. I mean, almost probably in the last decade.
This has been a great year for games in general, actually, in my opinion.
Oh,
but Starfield,
I would say probably this has been one of the best years, and maybe the last at least 5 years, maybe longer. The bar wasn't set high the last 5 years. It's been pretty rough.
We've had Hogwarts, we've had Jedi.
Hogwarts
Survivor.
was, I think, your game of the year pick.
Not anymore.
When you came on episode
Not
2.
anymore. It was early in the year. That was jumping the gun. I didn't even update. I never even finished that game yet. But we're talking about Starfield.
Yeah.
And I've played a lot of Starfield.
Yeah, we've all been playing it, so I thought we'd all comment on here, share our shared experience with it, and hopefully be able to come up with reasonable rating for the game. I haven't looked at any reviews for it, so I've been trying my hardest not to look at anyone else's opinions on this game and just form my own, other than I did talk to Kyle already on Xbox Live about his opinion on it, so
I didn't even watch
that did shook me a little bit. It did factor into what I was going to review.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even so much watch a trailer for this game yet. I watched the very, very first gameplay reveal a year or two ago, and that was it.
Wow, that's impressive. I watched over Summer Game Fest all the reveals and stuff that they did.
I didn't even do that. I went in blind.
When you work in games media, you don't always have that luxury.
Part of the title.
Yeah. So we'll break it down. Just go through our experiences, hours, what our play style was, what we did. We'll try our best to keep it as spoiler free as possible.
Absolutely no spoilers because I have not done the main quest.
Yeah, I mean there might be some minor spoilers, but most major spoilers. We'll try to avoid those.
Can we give a shout out for a spoiler before we say? Because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. We'll give you a warning, listeners, if there is a spoiler coming up, and that'll be your chance to skip ahead or stop listening.
So can we define a spoiler? Is it just main quest line or is it all side quests?
I would say just any side quest is a spoiler.
Any main side quest line.
I mean, if you think something is a spoiler, you could always just throw it out there as a warning, or call it a minor spoiler. I mean, a side quest I don't think is a major spoiler to the game.
But don't reveal too much.
Yeah, I mean, just be ambiguous as you can. Yeah. But yeah, all right, so we'll get into just our experience with it so far. Let's start off with Kyle. How many hours in are you right now?
Yeah, so I'm about probably 18 hours in.
Okay.
And I've completed the main storyline. My game experience, I don't know, do you want me to keep going or you want to? I got the list here.
Going. Yeah. So what was your game plan? So you said you did the main story. Was that just your only focus?
Yeah. So I think this is where we get into it. My sole experience for gaming, whether it's Assassin's Creed, whether it's Hogwarts earlier this year, whether it's Elden Ring, here we are with Starfield. My main goal is to get through the story. My main goal is to get through the story as fast, as efficiently as possible to complete the game with the least amount of time as possible. That's my playstyle. That's my experience. And that's how I catered Starfield to be. I aim for that kind of experience. So I go through all the story missions. I go as fast as possible, hopping through the galaxies and planets. And I love how you can pop into a planet and they're like, hey, we're gonna take all your stuff off your ship. I'm like, all right, and I'm on to the next system, like, so I don't take the time to fight the people, or people are like, hey, we need help. I'm like, on the next system.
Do you skip the dialogue?
Yes. As fast as possible.
God, what's wrong with you?
Like skip it entirely, or you just have subtitles on and you read it before they finish talking?
Subtitles, read A.
Gotcha.
Okay, at least you
going.
read it. I thought you were a dang animal.
I played without subtitles, which was a first for me, and I try to go for a cinematic experience.
Yes, so my build, that's my play style. My play style is efficiency. I'm fighting the least amount of people as possible. If I don't need to fight you, I'm gonna run by you. And so what I did is my play style, my build was I built up persuasion. I wanted to persuade people out of the fight. And so even the first boss you fight, the people who come down and try to steal you off that mining, the very first opening mission, right? That I think we're all aware of.
Very minor spoiler.
This is non-spoiler.
I didn't get that far yet.
The opening mission where they try to take you off the mining island. And there's this big boss, and I persuade them, and that's my whole style. It's like, I don't want to fight, I don't want to fight. I talk people out of things. And then the very first boss, I love persuading them out of something, and then walking behind them and just getting a shotgun right up to their head, and kind of just de-escalating the situation, and then re-escalating the situation.
Okay. So you're doing like a sociopath build.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's funny. I didn't know you could even talk to the first pirates you meet. I threw a grenade at him as soon as I walked outside.
All the way to the end of the game, you can persuade your choices to the very end. And so persuasion was big for me. My build was persuasion and kind of the politics and extrovert. I had people with me the whole way through. What I like about it, I like that I was able to fast track and enable my play style to persuade and just shoot through the main story as fast as possible. I have skill points. I'm probably level 25. I probably have 10 unused skill points at this time and phase.
Crazy.
Jesus Christ.
I don't even take time to upgrade the skill points. I max out my jetpack. I max out my health. I max out my oxygen, and there's no point for me to stop. I just went. I don't even have time to go.
That's crazy. It's funny.
So
I was just gonna say I was thinking about all the different ways we played from our text messages and what we were saying, and I was thinking like, wow, there really is like no wrong way to play a Bethesda game. But I don't know. Hearing your experience right now, I think that might be, if we can list a wrong way to play a Bethesda game.
Awful.
That way. But if you enjoyed it, I guess we can't say it's wrong. So
here's where we get to the score, and maybe this is all encompassing of my kind of review. I give it kind of
what did you you said what you liked about it. What were some of your dislikes? Unless that's part of your score.
It's part of the score, right? I guess it's all like encompassing, right? I think the in-depth nature of the story wasn't enough by itself to hold up the game. The main story, all of it isn't just, it became repetitive, it became isolated, it just wasn't invoking enough emotion. It was kind of not the best story. And I think the problem with Starfield, from my lens, and why it gets kind of that C+, B- area, was if you go into Skyrim, you are walking, you are in this world, and things are evolving. I'm going to go try to do as fast as possible and go do that quest. But man, someone's actually pulling me away from something. Oh man, there's actually a monster chasing me that I can't hop in my spaceship. I can't fast travel out of. So this enabled me in my play style to just fast travel. Anytime I was fighting people, I finish a mission, and there's still people I want to fight outside, I'm gone. I just fast travel. Right? Oh, you're in combat. Cool. Run away and fast travel. That's like, I just want to go as fast as possible and finish the story. And so with Skyrim, it forces you to stay in there, to learn it, to do a whole side quest to be the head of the College of the Mages, right? Like you're just like, why am I going to college right now? It's like, and somehow you just get you are enveloped in this world, and like Elder Scrolls, you are learning these different shouts. And I think Starfield didn't have that for me. You'd be on a planet and you would just go run to your objective, from my lens, and all planets just have a similar approach, a similar style, and you can easily just bypass those one-off missions where I think you can just fly right by. You can jump to the next galaxy, jump to the next systems. Whereas I think in Fallout and in Elder Scrolls, those side quests really take you and they force you. In Fallout, when you have to walk to the next building, or New Vegas or Fallout 3, like you are, it's part of it. It all comes together, and it's the story is good. The story is fun. I didn't get that this time, but I had a really good time altogether. But once again, I give it probably an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say I think they tried to kind of make some quality of life changes to the fast traveling and being able to travel around, but if you are just going from point A to point B, it does get dull. And especially just watching a fast travel cutscene, landing on a planet, running to the objective, and usually there's not much in your way to that objective, unless you're in like a major city. Then you get like other NPCs and other quests that just pop up just from you hearing things. But I felt the same way too, because I was playing kind of similar. I wasn't as rushed as you were, but I was mainly focusing on the storyline missions and not much else. And yeah, there was at times where I felt like I was just watching a fast travel cutscene, going to a planet, running to this objective, and not doing much else. And then, activating or picking up whatever the objective was and fast traveling out of there on to the next thing. And so I don't think they designed the main story to be played out straight through. I mean, I shouldn't say they didn't design it that way, but I think they were hoping that players would stop and do other things while they were working on the main story.
You can join the army right away. You land on the New Atlantis, and they're like, "Hey, join the army." I'm like, "Whoa, hold on here, dude. This is the main story quest. No, no, no. I'll come back here later." Then you can join like the Lone Rangers, right? Like, come be a part of this outlaw ass when you meet Sam, and like join this. And it's like, no, 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 no. We're not doing this yet. And so that's kind of my approach and style. Overall, why it kind of hits the lower mark for me, like a C+ area, was I spent, of my 18 hours games, it probably would have been a 13-hour gameplay. I got kind of caught up with some bugs and some glitches, had restarts a couple times. The biggest glitch I had throughout the game, I'm on the final mission of the game. You are facing one of the elite Starborn. I'm not going to spoil anything. This Starborn can raise some dead people, basically. And so you're fighting this horde of Starborn. You kill most of these people, but they keep coming back to life. You have to take out the main boss, in a sense. Everyone's story might be different when you get to the end with your choices you make. That's up to you guys. But this is my problem. I had this boss, and he typically, when I run into Starborn in the game, I use my gravitational push and push the Starborn on the ground. They fell over, and you just go run over and shotgun them. Pretty easy Starborn. They were really easy to go for. And so that's what I did in the horde of the Starborn. I would just push them over, run over, shotgun. Push them over, run over, shotgun. As I push over the final boss, he has a key to open a gate. He glitches into a wall, and I spent 3 to 4 hours trying to figure out how to get him unglitched from the game to continue on to finish the story. Once again, this is 30 minutes before the story ends. This is the final of the final. It's at the cusp of all of the work you've been doing for hours, and I spent 3 to 4 hours trying to figure out how to get the guy out of the wall, and we got him there eventually. But that's, I think, a miss for me in my experience of my fast gameplay story.
Yeah, I feel like Bethesda was punishing you for how you were playing. They needed to stall you a little bit because they're like, this guy's about to set a world record right now for our game, and we got to find a way to stop him. And they got you.
I love competing the main story and getting the achievement, and you're like less than 1% of the players have got this. Like that to me is like, that's where I get the fun. Like like just doing the main campaign is like you're beating most of the players. Like I'm racing. I think that's the race. Being under the 2% of the players to do the campaign missions.
And your overall grade was C+. Is that what you decided on?
Yeah.
Kyle gave it a C+.
That's my story.
Overall grade.
And my final critique of the game before we move on would be, you have these companions. I always want a companion in this story, this mode. I always wanted to lean on them. I figured out you can get married. You can you can have a partner. You can make them. You can flirt with them, right? You can make love to your partner. I always had Sam. He was the best fighter. The cowboy. He was just a really good fighter. So I always have him. And it'd be just the weirdest times.
I was gonna say, did you make love? Stud.
There's options. Yeah, there's always options to flirt and do things. I'm just like, dude, just trying to play the game here, dude.
I ain't trying to find love. I'm trying to.
We'd be progressing along the story. We'd be going through some fundamentally things together. He was with me most of the game just because he was one of the best fighters, and he actually got ranked in an article as one of the best companions to have because of his fighting ability and his complex and having his daughter there, etc. he would always try to talk to me in the weirdest times. Hey man, can we chat? It's like, dude, we're fighting Starbound right now. Stop, chill, bro. Like,
I know
it was
this
just
is
weird
I know
daytime
this
companion
is
stuff.
not the opportune time.
Yeah, and he's like, let's talk. And it's like, dude, I was like, I'm literally about to finish the game. Can you stop talking? And so that was just off-putting to me that he would always trying to talk and complain, and like I felt like bad had to talk to the guy just so he'd stop talking to me, but it would always come back up again. So I was frustrated with the companionship. I wanted a companion, but I don't want somebody to like need to talk every time we finish a mission.
Just shut up
So
and carry
that's
my
my
stuff.
critique.
That's what I'm talking to you for.
Yes. Take some bullets for me and go kill some things. That's all I need you here for.
All right, so C+ for Kyle. Let's go into you, Dill, because you got a considerable amount of time with the game.
Yeah, I nearly have 3 days. The last 2 weeks, about 20% of my existence has been Starfield.
All right, and what's the gameplay experience been? What have you been focusing on while you play?
So, needless to say, I'm doing the opposite of Kyle. I am not speedrunning through the game. I'm trying to like immerse myself in the game and like see what it all has to offer. So let's start from there. The side quests, they're fun. Nothing major, nothing like real notable either. It's just fun. So let me backtrack. If my perfect game is Halo 2, that's a 10. And if my worst game is like Redfall. So that's the scale I'm working with. And I'm just going to start it off. I give the game about like an 8 also.
I don't use numbers for my ranking system. I use letter grades.
All right, do you use S?
S+ would be like a perfect 10 out of 10
And
game.
then
And D- would be the worst game ever. No one should
there's
play
no
it.
F on this scale.
No F. No.
All right, let's toss it. Let's toss it like B- also. There's reasons for that. So I've been doing like a lot of exploration, a lot of side quests. I hate companions because what Kyle said, they're just annoying. The gunplay is not good. It's typical Bethesda gunplay.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be some sort of aim assist, especially on console controller. I'm just gonna like highlight all my negatives before I go in my positive stuff. Exploration is very bare. There's only a few set pieces in the world and you come across the same exact set pieces. And there's a lore reasoning behind that too. There's a whole there were wars and among the systems, and they would mass fab these outposts and stuff. And so mechanically it makes sense, but that's just a lazy like cover up. So everything you see is the same. Shipbuilding, it's cool. I love the ability to build a ship. It gives you something to do, but it's kind of like you don't really need to do it. In some of the loading screen captions, it talks about fueling and in helium-3, and that's a resource you find a lot, but you don't need to refuel ever.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I
was talking to a friend about it. When you go to a system, it says you're going to be out of fuel when you get there. But if you're basically refueling every time you stop, why would that matter? Because on the star map, it shows you hopping from system to system. So you should be refueling after like at each stop. So that's kind of silly.
Yeah, I did notice that too.
Can we pivot here real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dill. Great point. I was reading an article to where on Reddit, it was one of the most popular ones. It was like, it feels like the game started off to be an exploration survival game, to where you would have to build up enough resources, build outposts, get fuel, get materials, build, then move on to the next planet. And
makes sense.
It feels like and so when you get to the next system, you explore, you've had to earn it. You had to get there. You had to move in order to move through the story and the system. You just couldn't fast travel. You had to go refuel. You had to go find fuel. And so they felt like the game, the way it started off, got overtaken by someone else's design.
Something
Because
more
it feels like
casual.
Starfield, through that lens, through survival, you need to go mine and get the stuff to move forward, to move on to the next system and refuel your tank. Even if you look in the cut screens, there's like helium refuel tanks. And so
exactly,
it feels like there was a missing piece of the puzzle that they started to make. That I think that would make the game much more satisfying.
Yeah, immersive.
To progress a story, you have to do the outpost. To progress a story, you have to explore the planet to move on to the next one. But great point, Bill. I just wanted to...
There's an exploit to get around lack of fuel. Like sometimes, like it'll say, "Oh, you're gonna run out of fuel before you get here." If you go ahead and open the system app anyway, and you go to the planet that you want to go, you can hit land, and it just bypasses the lack of fuel thing. That's like a glaring issue to me.
You have to have been there before.
Yeah, you do
You
have to
can't
be
do it
there.
on like an undiscoverable planet, but if you've been there before, you can bypass that by
you do have to do that.
fast traveling directly to the landing zone.
I've been doing a lot of exploration. There's very few planets that actually have life on it, and that's fun. But again, like you don't unless you're into crafting, and I've never felt the need to craft yet, and I don't think I will, unfortunately. Unless you need to craft, you don't need to go visit those planets and kill the aliens and harvest the resources. You just don't need to do it. What else? I feel like the weapon selection, there's not a lot of depth into it. I've come across the same 12 weapons I always do. There's some more rare ones than others, but I think so far I've seen all the weapons it has to offer, other than like named weapons. There's not a lot of depth. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other negatives I have. It feels rushed, even though they spent years on developing this. So if I think of other cons, I'll talk about it. But for the good things, it is cool that you can go explore. I think that is neat, but it just doesn't really fit the game. I want to talk about good things about the main storyline, but I can't yet. I haven't played it yet. I'm not actually even interested in playing it.
You made a really good point again, to where I didn't realize until you said it. But the weapon system is actually really bad. Like, you just get the same Grindel slightly better. You just get the same shotgun. The same shotgun slightly better.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. I probably went through the game using the same freaking gun slightly better every time it dropped.
Exactly. And if you wanted to, you can go mod them. Sure.
But yeah, that's a whole nother. You have to upgrade that whole skill tree. Then you need to also get the components to do it. And then,
same with like suits. I found one suit. I've just been rocking the same suit the entire time. I haven't come across anything better. Aesthetically, everything's generally the same. You still find the same 5 suits that you usually do. Normal clothes. Normal clothes. You can find NPCs wearing the same clothes. You see it 100 times. Oh yeah, and another con. There's not too many cities to explore. There's like maybe 5 main cities that you can go to. There's Neon, Aquila. Some of the bases like on Mars, but it feels bland. It's just very small. New Atlantis is definitely like the centerpiece and the crown of the game. And that's kind of disappointing. You get there right away and you explore it right away. Vendors have the same issue that Skyrim has, meaning that they have very limited credits, but it's dumb because you can sit there and wait for 48 hours and then it's renewed. So what's the point? Just give them more credits. And especially when you start upgrading your social tree, where you can sell things for more and buy things for less, it exaggerates the problem, because now you can only sell like 3 or 4 things until they're out of money, and then you got to sit there and wait. Yeah.
Or you have to buy a ton of stuff and then trade a bunch of your things to get a good deal on it. Is kind of how that works with the bartering skill.
It still leaves me longing for Skyrim and like a real Elder Scrolls game. It tickles the itch a little bit. I still love the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm obviously still playing a lot of it. I've dumped almost 3 days into it already, and I'm gonna go back and play it some more. It's still a fun game. I do really like the persuasion system.
Yeah, that was a big improvement.
Yeah,
I mean, Skyrim's was pretty non-existent. Yeah, and so was Fallout 4. So it's kind of bad.
Yeah. This one gives you it's more like persuading.
Yeah,
and you have like more difficult selections to choose from, and you persuade them more, but it's a risk.
Yeah, and I don't know if this has a factor in it at all, but I feel like when I choose something, even if it's a higher risk of failing, if it more fits the context of the conversation, I feel like it succeeds more often than when I don't choose things.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just thinking into it too much, but it seems like it is that way. If I'm talking to someone who is aggressive or kind of shady or nefarious, and I choose an option that's like also aggressive towards them, I feel like it would succeed more often than when I was choosing just the lowest risk option.
Yeah. Another issue I have is when you're out exploring, running sucks. You run it. It's a game of sprinting and then stopping to recatch your breath, and then you sprint again. And sometimes these objects, if you open your scanner, you can look around real quick. Oh, there's something over here 600 meters away. Cool. Run to it. It takes you 2 minutes. You get there and it's just nothing to really care about. Sometimes there's like caves you can explore, but it seems like there's maybe 2 or 3 copy-paste caves, which it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Everything's procedurally generated, which is really cool, but there's just almost no sense of going there to explore.
I'll say some hacks for some people listening, wanting to play through it, is I didn't realize it. For most of the game, I was carrying like 50 pounds of things that were just like material complex components that didn't
Yes.
show up. As you go through a list, you try to clear out your inventory, not till you go to all other. I'm carrying a bunch of random components and rocks
Yeah.
and things I didn't think I needed. So that I would weigh down and not have the space I needed. Once again, I maxed out physical, I maxed out health, I maxed out lungs. And I didn't realize that for most of the game that I just had 50, it was like kilograms of just
Yeah.
on inventory just sitting there I
Just
didn't
crap.
Yeah.
That
So
you're never-
tough. The inventory management system is tough.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of UI, there's no maps. You open, like, if you're walking around a city and you need to know where to go, it's non-existent. It's just like
Yeah.
pixels. That is awful.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Or yeah, you could. I think the closest map you get is just like this blue grid
Yeah, it's a
with some
pixels.
named locations
Yeah,
on
and
it.
You don't know what's north, south. I don't
Yeah.
think there is a compass in the game, right?
There is a compass.
Oh.
So when there's on the bottom left, there's where your O2 and CO2, and
It's just
it is a compass. I think there is icons on there, and
okay.
so you
I know
can
there's
use
like
those to guide you.
I know there's like a time of day. I guess I just didn't look enough. Yeah, and just overall the menu system needs work, quality of life improvements. That said, I still like the game. I still find it interesting enough to go through the storylines just to see what it's about. Facial animations, everyone raves about it. I don't think they're that great.
Yeah, I mean, they're an improvement over previous games, but with other games that have
There's not
come out
much-
recently,
yeah, that's setting the bar low.
yeah,
So I mean but again, I'm nitpicking now. There are definitely glaring issues with the game, but it doesn't impede my enjoyment.
yeah. No, I mean, it has some fair critiques that you can make of it, and I think if you're a fan of Bethesda games, you'll keep playing it because you enjoy their
Yeah,
games.
it's still fun. It's a fun game.
So, and you said you were at about 72 hours. So, how many more hours do you think you're going to go? Do you think you'll do more than one playthrough? Do you feel like you'd get a different experience if you tried a different playthrough with
If
a
I
different
played
build?
it again, I will definitely have a different moral approach because this playthrough, I'm like, yeah, the UC is great. Stick to the law. There's side quests where, not really spoilery, but you can go join the Crimson Fleet, which is the pirate faction in the game. You can go join them, and as an undercover agent. But eventually, you can have the choice of actually, kind of like changing sides.
Yeah.
Without getting too much into detail. Oh, that reminds me, the Crimson Fleet characters on that side quest are all insufferable. Oh my god! And go play it. You'll know exactly who I'm talking about when you get there.
Yeah. How about one thing I forgot to put on the outline I was going to ask you guys, but Kyle kind of shared a little bit. What's a tip you would give someone? Something you wish you knew before you started playing?
Know where your capacity on weight is.
Yeah. Weight
I actually had
management
no idea
is
where
brutal.
to find it. Yeah. Just the management.
Your mass is what
Your
they
mass.
call it. Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
it is brutal to manage in this game, even with perk investments.
You
And I
can-
didn't want to invest perks into the trait that gives you more carrying capacity because I feel
Oh.
like that's...
Now that we're going to perks, that's another thing, another critique. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You better choose the right skill sets early in the game when you can level up faster because you only get one skill point per general level. Because it's going to get harder and harder and slower to get your skill points later in the game. So you better know what you want to pick and what you want to do.
Yeah. What did you guys think about this skill system? So Skyrim had, there was no perks. There was perks, but you pretty much had access to all skills, and what skills you used, those are the ones that got better, and then you could pick perks for them. Fallout is more like you have to use stat points, and then when you have a certain amount of stat points, then you could pick a perk in that stat skill tree. This is kind of like a blend of both, where you have kind of unlimited access to all the skills, but you have to use the skill in order to upgrade a perk in that for that certain skill. And yeah, it does get after I think the second perk investment in a skill, then it's like you have to do 100 of a certain action in order to unlock the third one. Did you guys like the skill system in Starfield compared to other Bethesda games? What did you think, Kyle?
I don't like it because, like what I just talked about, like if you want something, so they locked the skill tree. Like you have to invest 4 points in the first level to get to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like the last ones, they might not be like related to like other things. I don't know. Where Skyrim, like if you want to focus on one hand, that's what you do. You have to use your one hand weapons, and then you can progress through that skill tree, and it's fine because it doesn't get slowed down because everything's individual. You don't have to rely on your overall level until you get a new skill point. If you want something now, like like example shipbuilding, I never invested anything to shipbuilding because I didn't need it. I didn't care about it. But now, like, I'm level 25 or something. I'm like, okay, cool. Shipbuilding's cool. I have to wait so long to get a skill point to invest into it. And I need to get the third perk on that skill, or that the individual piloting. It's just kind of, it sucks.
Yeah.
That you're bogged down because of your early choices.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Skyrim, like, you can change it. Like if you're one-handed and you're like until you're level 20 or whatever, and you want to start doing ranged or whatever, it doesn't matter because that's its own set. Not a fan.
Yeah, I was disappointed a little bit in the skill system and just the overall like character building, because it was just perks and skills like Skyrim, but like I said, the changes they have where you have to invest in a skill and then complete a challenge and unlock the next perk, and then you have to level up in order to get a perk, just felt like it slowed it down quite a bit. And I never felt like my character was really optimized for anything. And I invested quite a bit early on into weapon skills, and I regretted that because I don't think you even need any weapon skills in the game.
Does your damage scale with your level?
Yeah, you could. Oh, does your damage scale with your level? I don't think so. I don't think you'll do more damage the higher level you get, but I think your damage will scale only off of if you invested perks into
like
that weapon type.
I know like fighting enemies, like if I'm lower level than them, I won't do as much damage. It's just in general. So I don't actually know if it's scaled with your level or not.
Yeah, I don't think damage is scaled with your level. So I wish I didn't invest like any points into any sort of weapon skills. I wish I just focused on other things like booster pack and piloting and some of the science skills.
On that note, it's ridiculous that you have to spend a skill point to use a pack that you can just pick up and wear.
Yeah.
Why do I need to spend a skill point?
I was only, when I first went, I went all just weight and then health and then oxygen was and persuasion. And so then I'm sitting there, I'm like, should I not be able to jetpack? I saw the trailer, there's jetpack. I could not figure out for the life of me why I couldn't jetpack. And then I went in there to Google. I'm like, what's the spin skills on this? Like, what the heck?
Yeah,
they had the different packs, the different combos, the different boost combinations. So it was just super interesting. And it got to the point once I leveled up the pack and my health and my everything else, like I didn't need anything else. And so the game, I felt like anything I saw just wouldn't help me. So why would I go and spend skill points? So I just had a bank of skill points. I didn't need to complete the game. I don't need to modify my weapons. I don't need to have a chance to maybe heal slightly better over the course of time. I just felt like there was nothing really calling out to me. But maximizing, another pro tip is max out your jetpack. It's awesome. If you have to go long periods of times and distances, you can run and then jetpack to offset while you recover your oxygen. So would recommend jetpack all the way to level 5, I believe.
Yeah, there's definitely jetpacking and a few other skills that are pretty essential, I think, for any build the character should get. Jetpacking, lockpicking early on is super helpful.
Another critique. Lockpicking is awful.
Oh, yeah, I hated it at
so
first.
hard.
Yeah.
It is it's so tedious and for little reward.
Yeah. I felt so dumb the first few times I tried doing it.
Didn't explain it really well.
Yeah.
And like even if you do open it without error, you still spend a digipick.
Mm-hmm.
That's silly to me.
I will say though, the best weapons I have, I think, have come from opening locked containers.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Everything.
I am glad that I always go with lock picking in every Bethesda game I play because it bugs me not to open things.
I'll still open them. I'm just disappointed 90% of the time. It's like, cool, you just spent 2 digipicks because of this stupid hard master lock.
Yeah.
Here's a can of chunks. I love chunks.
Yeah.
I'm a chunks fan.
But but I mean, when you invest in it, it does get a little bit easier. You start to get some perks that make it a little more easier to identify which ones you should be doing.
Yeah, which again sucks for me because I have to wait so long to get a skill point. It's just frustrating because I'll come across master logs I can't open yet.
Yeah.
Pro tip: food is a waste of space and weight, so there's no point to food to be in the game.
For
Buy
right now.
any and
Until there's a
all med
survival
packs. Buy all the med packs you can get from your dealers. You're gonna need them late game on some tough interactions.
Yeah, food is always, well, you can cook your food and it'll be substantially better than just eating raw ingredients. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
You can make recipes and the food will be, heal you way more and give you also additional benefits besides health. It'll give you buffs and things like that. So there is use of food if you go that route.
Debatable.
But yeah, I'm sure eventually there's going to be a survival mode where you have to manage your also food and water and sleep and all that. So.
If they came out with survival mode and then like reintroduce like helium and like building outposts
and no fast travel,
no fast traveling.
Yeah, that'd be a tough game. Elder Scrolls
you have to
space
walk
travel.
Walk from system to system.
Yeah. Well, you have to booster pack fly from system to system. No, at least no fast travel on planets. Like you'd have to walk back to your ship and stuff like that and around cities.
Can we just pivot real quick? A hard pivot to my brain. I'm sitting here in the main story. I'm like, you go back to the lodge, you drop off another piece, you drop off another piece, you drop off another piece, and you're like, what the heck is happening? Why am I spending all this time? And there's never like, they don't give you enough really to keep going. It's just like you do the same repetitive thing. It just speaks to the storytelling, the skills points, and I think that's why it holds that C+ in my head.
Can I give us? This is going to be kind of like a heavy spoiler about the Crimson Fleet.
You've all been warned right now. Heavy spoiler. Incoming.
Heavy spoiler. It's a side quest spoiler.
If you don't want to hear, okay, it's side quest. I wouldn't say it's heavy. Spoiler.
It's a notable spoiler.
But skip ahead.
But kind of not
at
either.
least 30 seconds.
All right, so real quick, there's not a lot of enemies in the game. There's a Spacers, Varun, and Pirates. It's kind of, at least what I've seen. That's all there is. When you join the Crimson Fleet as an undercover agent, you're part of the Crimson Fleet. You come across the Crimson Fleet out there. They're not gonna. They don't shoot you. It doesn't matter. It takes away a third of the enemies that you get to encounter, and that's kind of disappointing. I was very frustrated.
Was that your spoiler?
Yeah,
I feel like that's not a spoiler.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I've played the game and I've never.
No way.
Really? I've run into them, but I run away because I feel like they F me up when I'm flying around my spaceship, especially if there's more than like 3 of them in a dogfight. I have lost many dogfights that way. So I usually just jump out of there when I encounter them.
Anyway, sorry, what is your review of the game?
So for me, I made it about 16 hours in. I was trying to finish the main story. Sadly, I hit a point where you have to make some substantial upgrades, and I couldn't figure it out in time. So I didn't get to finish the main campaign, but I did maybe 1 or 2 side quests unintentionally. I tried to dock onto a ship that I thought was a trader ship early on because I had all this junk and I didn't know what to do with it or how to buy ammo or anything. So I went onto the ship that said, I don't know, Star UC or Trader. I can't remember what those trade ships are called. But when I docked onto it, everyone was dead. And I found a guy in there saying that it was pirates had attacked him. So I had to do the side quest. And that was one I did. And then I did part of the story. You have to do a side quest too for a faction. But for the most part, I was just head down trying to do the story missions when I played. Wasn't rushing through it, though. I mean, I was trying to enjoy it and take it in. Took a lot of screenshots, a lot of camera pics using the photo mode, which a tip if you don't know, if you take a picture with photo mode, it becomes one of your loading screens. So, yeah, I tried to take some...
Thanks, Bethesda.
Tried to take some notable pics with the photo mode and then could relive them in the loading screens. But, yeah, and then... my build I was going with, I did Persuasion too, just because I usually like to play that route. I was kind of going for like a space explorer Han Solo type character, I feel like. So I invested in Persuasion and laser weapons and pistols early on. A little bit of stealth, because when you invest at least 1 point into stealth, you get the stealth meter. That if you've played Bethesda games, those are usually a staple. But if you don't invest that point in stealth, you don't get that stealth meter when you crouch.
And there are parts where like stealth is vital in some of these missions if you want to play it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it was helpful just to going through a new area. I could at least crouch and see if I was hidden or not, and then get the sneak attack bonus on enemies. But like I said, combat wasn't too difficult. I don't think I need to invest any points into any weapon skill or anything to be able to get through any combat situation.
Just blast them. If you have enough ammo, you're fine.
Yeah, I will say though that... Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
You could be level 17, 18, 19, fighting Starborn who are 30, 35, no problem, So...
Yeah, especially with that ability you were talking about that you can kind of just spam on them. And I usually in games I'll use whatever cheap tactic there is because I want to challenge the game developers, to make me do something different. So if there's something that works really well, I'm going to keep doing it until the game forces me to.
You're a big cheese guy, huh?
Oh yeah, I cheesed my whole way through Elden Ring. That's how I beat it. And the developers never forced me to do anything different. So. Yeah, and so I was a little disappointed in that, but what I was going to say about the AI was I feel like AI was a little bit better than it has been in previous Bethesda games. Not so much with their awareness and stealth, but in combat, they seemed a little more aware of cover, where they're placed at. I know they flee now. If you kill a lot of enemies in an area and there's only a couple left, they'll run away. One enemy in particular, I remember one time clearing out a space station. He started to run away after I had killed almost everyone. I chased after him down a hallway, and there was a mine. So I ran into a mine and blew up. Don't know if that was intentional, because I don't think NPCs plant mines. I feel like levels usually have mines already there. So I think he was just running away. But
it just so happened.
Yeah, but still, it felt like, wow, he trapped me into this mine that I chased after.
And then your last save was 5 hours behind.
So there's definitely some improvements in the AI that made combat at least a little more interesting, a little more fun. What I liked about Starfield, there's a lot of things I liked. I overall had a really positive experience, and I was pretty hyped about this game too. So I watched a lot of gameplay reveal. I watched Todd's presentations on it at Summer Game Fest, and so I was really excited. I think the things that it did really well is the universe that it made and the world I think that they built is worth exploring and feels like I want to know more about it from, just the lore, from the digilogs that you can find in the computers. I was very interested in what happened on planets. I was really interested in going back to Earth to read about what happened and see what caused Earth to be in the state that it was in the game. And so I really like the exploration part of it. Even, the procedural generated planets, I didn't get to visit a ton of them because I was focusing on the main story, but I did go to a few because one of the side quests that I did do is, this is a minor spoiler, at a certain point in the story, you get some abilities that you can unlock. And so you can go to different planets to unlock new abilities. And so I was trying to get as many of those abilities as I could to play around with them. So I did get to check out some of the kind of procedural generated planets, and I had a lot of fun exploring them. I wish I would have stopped doing the main story and just kind of explored more. That was one thing I wish I would have done more of. And then another thing I liked about it was definitely the dialogue system, the persuasion system, talking to people. It felt very much one of my favorite Elder Scrolls games was Oblivion, and it felt very much like playing Oblivion, because Oblivion had that same style of zoomed in face when you talk to someone. It had a persuasion system where you had to choose different things and look at the NPC's face and how they reacted to it to try and persuade them. And so it felt very similar to that with kind of the persuasion system that they used, where you had to choose different things that had a higher or lower chance of succeeding with them. And then graphically, the landscapes, I think, looked really cool. There's a lot of really cool environments and really cool planets. I think there was some frame rate issues on a lot of the major cities that I went to, and so that was a bummer. But I didn't spend a lot of time in the major cities in my playthrough, so I spent a lot of time on kind of the open world and desolate planets. And I really want to explore it more and get into some of the crafting too, as far as modifying guns and stuff like that, because I only was able to research about one level of crafting for my armor and guns, so didn't get to do a ton of it. And that's usually in Bethesda games how you get into like the real end game of damage and optimizing your build is through crafting. So I want to get more into that. Overall, I really enjoyed the game for what it was and for how far I got, and I'm definitely planning on playing more. I've heard of New Game Plus after the game. I knew that before I started playing because I had saw like a TikTok or YouTube short on that part. So I was thinking I would play through the main story and then kind of play through the game again, but I'm thinking I might just start a new character next time I play and just try a whole different build, because I didn't like my skill point investments that I did with my first character. And so I'm already regretting it. And I usually create a new character like 5 times before I get far into the game, but I was trying to get through as much of the game as I could. So I just tried to make do with what I had.
You can buy a ship, by the way, without having to upgrade the ships. You can just buy a ship with that the grav drive you need.
I know. I tried that too.
So you know.
I didn't have enough credits.
Enough money.
So I had to.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I tried to upgrade it, and then I ran out of credits, and then I didn't have enough to buy a ship. So I was also thinking, I'm gonna have to go do side activities anyways. So might as well just start a new character and just skip the main story this time and go do all the side stuff. But yeah, things I was disappointed in besides the character building and the skill tree was just the menu system. Yeah, we talked about that. Was pretty rough. Moving through the menu system, moving through the map was annoying and tedious, having to press B multiple times or remember to hold B to go all the way back. And then the menu looks confusing at first. It's not clear where everything's at first when you open the map. So early in the game, I was always clicking on the wrong thing and opening up the wrong thing on the menu and having to go back. And I mean, it takes like a split second to go back, but it just gets tedious doing it over and over again.
I know. I do it every single time. And you'd think I'd be used to it by now, but
yeah, it's like every time I open the menu, I have to stop and think for just that second to remember which direction I need to hit the analog stick to hit the menu that I want.
It's kind of bad.
So it made me wish for just a good old Pip-Boy where I could just press LT and RT to cycle through some tabs. But yeah, and then the combat was nothing exceptional to like a Bethesda game. The AI I said was slightly better, but the gunplay was pretty similar to like Fallout 4's. Nothing too exceptional there. I really think the meat of this game and the most enjoyment out of this game is going to come from exploring and doing side quests and factions, which is also typical of a Bethesda game. Usually the main quest line isn't the biggest selling point or draw to the game. And I think that's going to be the case with Starfield. So I'm excited to spend more time in the world and to play it more. And I'm really excited for mods to come to the game, and so I can start modding it and add even more stuff to the game. And I mean, with Skyrim, I used mods to completely change like the perk system and the leveling system and made it more into like a RPG game. And so I'm sure I'll get that opportunity with Starfield too. Overall, the rating I would give it, I was pretty high on it. So I think the overall rating I had was an A for it, which would be like a really good game. If you're not a fan of Bethesda games, I don't think this is going to be the one that changes your mind. But if you are a fan of an RPG game, or you're a fan of an FPS, or if you're a fan of a space exploration game like No Man's Sky, you'll definitely find enjoyment in this game, and I think it's worth playing. And yeah, if you're a fan of an FPS, I think there's just enough in there to keep you playing it. If you're a fan of RPG games, I think there's enough elements in there to keep you engaged in playing it. So I think it does a lot of good things on like a surface level for what they're trying to do. But like you mentioned, Dill, I think there's a lack of depth in most areas. But yeah, overall, I was pretty high on it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to most people.
Can I give a recommendation?
To caveat real quick would be if I take my C plus as a AAA title game that you paid $70 for, that's what my rating scale is. But if I say, look, this is on Xbox Game Pass, this is a free game. I mean, if you take that into account, this is a massive, amazing free game on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
So
cheap game.
in
Maybe
that
not
lens,
free, but a very cheap game.
yeah, a very cheap game
Yeah.
with a recurring subscription model. But through that lens of Xbox Game Pass, this is amazing, right? We're not having to pay $70, $80, etc. Let's just through that lens, it's an S,
Yeah.
without a doubt, of one of the best games on Game Pass you can possibly get.
Yeah,
So
I'm
just want
enjoying
to
the hell
caveat
out of
as we
it.
talk through this.
Mhm.
It's not a bad game. I know I just ragged on it, but it's still very good.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
fun.
mean there were definitely critiques to be made about this game that I think was only fair that we talked about them and let people know about them. Oh yeah, but as a Bethesda fan too, I would if I was just saying for me personally, I'd probably give this game like an S. Like I enjoyed it that much, but I think just for the mass amount of other people and mass amount of gamers, I think I would give it an A. A really good game, but maybe it's not going to appeal to everybody. Well, that wraps up, I think, our Starfield review.
Starfield.
No Man's Skyrim.
Space game.
All right, you guys ready to get into some 20 questions?
Yes.
This will be the first time that we've had 2 people on to play 20 questions, so you guys are going to be working in unison here. How this segment works is I picked out a video game character, and you guys have 20 yes or no questions to ask me to try and narrow it down. And then after 20 questions, you guys can make a guess, and we'll see if you can get it. Whenever you guys are ready, you can start discussing and let the questioning begin.
All right, Kyle. I'll let you. Just. Do you want to discuss, or do you want
I
to?
think let me do 3. You do 3. We'll switch off every 3. See if we can pick up where pick up where I pick off. Left
It's
off.
not divisible by 20.
That'll make it easy for me to keep track of the.
All right, Kyle, go for
You
it.
go with that, Dill?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it. I was just teasing about the divisibility, but yeah, Kyle, go for it.
Is the character a male gender?
I would say yes.
Is the character
You know, actually, I feel like I have to give you a hint on that. This character technically doesn't have a gender, but
Wow.
they are male seeming.
is this character introduced to the audience before, or it's yes or no, after 2010?
No.
So they're introduced before 2010.
Yeah, usually questions like that, I think of the first game they appeared in, and so I would say the first game they appeared in was before 2010.
Got it. And with one more question before handing over to Dill. Does this character wear armor?
No.
Thank you.
Is this character in a first-person shooter?
Yes.
Is this character the Gravemind?
No.
So you can't waste a question for.
Bro, I thought I had it.
It's technically a question he asked, even though it was also a guess. But
Anyway, so is this on the Xbox platform?
yes.
That was 3 of my questions. So
Yep. We're on question 7 here.
Is this character part of a AAA franchise?
Yes.
Is this character human?
No.
Is this character in the Halo universe?
No.
That puts us at a total of 9
Yeah,
questions
see-
so far.
We're at 9 right now. This will be question 10.
yeah, I'm stumped because like
AAA.
everything was lining up to be Gravemind, and then you said it wasn't, and then all the questions afterwards, I was like, it's the Gravemind. I'm telling you, but it's not Halo. First-person shooter on the Xbox. That's not Halo.
AAA title,
That's not of human,
human,
Not human. Yep.
Xbox related.
but represented with a male voice.
Yes.
What other AAA titles, Dill, are there?
Is
that
this
are,
character in Mass Effect?
No.
Guess what other AAA titles would there be besides Mass Effect, Halo,
Halo that offers.
pre 2010?
Shoot. Is this character of an animal?
No.
Was that all 3 of mine? Do I have one more?
I think you have one more. I have 12. This will be question 12, I believe.
Dude, I'm stumped. And you said it was Xbox exclusive, right?
It was on Xbox.
Oh. Is it Xbox exclusive?
No.
All right,
Tough.
Kyle, take it away. Tough. I guess I should have specified my first Xbox question then.
Is it a fighting game? Wait, no, sorry. We
No,
already
no,
said first person shooter.
no, first person.
No, don't count. Don't say anything. We already know it's a first person shooter.
I won't count it.
Pre 2010.
Wait, yeah, let's reconvene. Pre 2010, first person shooter, not of human.
Not Mass Effect. And it's a first person shooter, so it's not Fable.
It's I mean, there's Call of Duties that feature like aliens and zombies, but that's not really like a character you can point out. There's Battlefield, but there's no characters that aren't human. There's no shooters that I can think of don't have humans as enemy, other than Halo, but it's not an exclusive.
Okay, I was gonna say 007, but he's not fighting any non-monsters there, Dill, so we probably skip that. There's Alien versus Predators. There's Arma 2. There's Battlefield, BioShock.
Tarkov or Turok?
What?
Turok that has like dinosaurs in it.
Ooh, Turok. I actually do remember playing Turok back in the day. Borderlands as well.
That could be an option.
Kev looked a little flustered over there when he said Borderlands.
I was going to say it when you said Turok because I was at a junk sale this last weekend and found a Turok comic book. Almost bought it. Yeah, I love Turok on the 64, and the 360 one was good.
I think it's fun with the bow.
Actually, I shouldn't say good. It was okay.
So it's not Call of Duty because it's a fighting. It's got to be before 2010.
Can't even remember what I did last week, let alone shooters in 2010.
Is this character in Borderlands universe?
Yes.
Hell yeah. That's
Kev got all flustered when I said Borderlands. So the character there we know is not. We're on question 13, so we have technically
we know
14 race moves.
Yeah, we
Six
know
more?
it's not a human character, but is represented by a male voice. I kind of have a question. Can I impose a question?
Yes.
Is this character of a robot?
Yes.
I think I know who it is.
Go ahead. Go for it.
it
If you think it's
Claptrap?
Claptrap, go for Rip.
We've done it.
The character was Claptrap. Appeared first in Borderlands, which was not a exclusive. It was on 360 and PS3. And in 2009, so right before 2010.
Holy
The
crap.
release date of that.
2009?
Was, yeah.
I thought we were like junior. Well, I thought Kyle and I were like juniors in high school.
Yeah. Well, nicely done. You guys got it.
We've done it, Kyle.
14 questions.
New record?
Not a new record, but
It's a record for me.
You are the first duo, so that's a record. All right. Well, I think that's it for our show tonight, boys. Thank you again for being on here. I'm glad you guys took the time out of your busy schedules to be on here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for having us, Kev. Appreciate it.
Hopefully you'll be back on in the future for the next Bethesda release in 2038. And we'll be on here talking about Elder Scrolls 6.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am a CL4P TP steward bot, but my friends call me Claptrap.
Thank you for listening to this month's episode. As always, you can find my contact info and links to articles that we discuss down below in the show notes. Please feel free to contact me if you have any suggestions or feedback for the show, game recommendations, interesting news topics that you want to hear discussed, and any video game character suggestions are always appreciated. I hope you pop by for next month's episode, and remember, it's only screen peeking if you get caught. Stay frosty and happy gaming.